Hello and welcome to the Bike Show. Gentlemen, I would like to start with a little bit of news that's caught my eye. We know 2015 is going to be a year of sport bikes. Now, I've got my eye on one particular Yamaha sport bike, and it's not the R1 as you might think, it's called the R3. Now, you may have guessed from the name, that makes 300 cc's, it's a parallel twin, it's going to be absolutely fantastic looking, it will handle brilliantly, I presume it's immediately the best 300 cc that you can buy.
But there is some competition. There's the Kawasaki 300R. Now that, like the Yamaha, it's got 2 cylinders, and at the moment it is the fastest of the 300s. And let's be honest, kids like that sort of thing.
And it comes in at about 63 grand. Honda have got something a bit cheaper, don't they?
Well, Honda yet again are actually bringing up the rear of the field. They also have a 300, a CBR 300, but it's a single, one little cylinder. And it's about the same price, give or take a few thousand, as the other two.
Yes, well, you don't need twin cylinders to work in this segment, as Harry and Donovan found out recently.
Think back to when you were a kid, if you can remember that far back. What was the one thing you wanted from the bike that you got?
I wanted to be like Kevin Schwantz's 500cc Grand Prix bike, or at very least my dad's bike.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say we're talking about a replica of a big bike just made small, but there wasn't really anything like that. I mean, I had a Fizzy, a little FS1E Yamaha, 50cc, about 3 brake horsepower, about 60 kilometers an hour top speed. What did you have?
Well, I was a bit younger, so I had an RG50. It had a top speed of 121 kilometers per hour, because I knew this because I tested it when going home from school every day.
Every single day, and it was downhill all the way, wasn't it?
Oh yes, steep.
Absolutely. So, what we're saying is that in the good old days, should we say, things weren't that great for kids. But I think nowadays, we've actually got a bit better because we have these two absolutely beautiful bikes. We have the KTM's Duke 390 and the RC390, basically the same bikes. One's got a fairing, one's a naked bike. And in all essence, all intents and purposes, these are miniature replicas of the Super Duke 1290 and the RC8.
Well, they've got very similar technology that goes into them. You look at that trellis frame, I mean, it comes straight off, especially this one, it comes straight off that Super Duke at the back there, obviously a bit smaller,
yeah,
but similar sort of thing. And apart from that, you can't really tell big differences. Obviously, it's just smaller.
It is just like a miniaturized version. But I mean, just because they're smaller doesn't mean they're not really good fun. Now, KTM do a 125 version and a 200 version,
yes,
which they're a bit wet, aren't they? Well, whereas these 390s.
Well, let's be honest, the 125 and the 200 are for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 16-year-olds, whatever, dad doesn't trust them too much,
yeah,
rightfully so.
Yeah.
This can be ridden by adults. I mean, we've been riding it and we've been having a blast, haven't we?
I actually do feel like I'm 18 all over again, actually. But you're right there, these have got enough power. I mean, these are what, 43, 44 brake horsepower, single cylinder, discs front and back. Pretty damn good handling, I have to say. And it is a kid's bike that you can ride as an adult, so you just feel like a kid again.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you can't wait to stop at a stop street or a robot. I know it sounds weird, but I can't wait to stop just so that I could accelerate again, first, second, third.
And
just want to rev.
Yeah, and where the 125 and the 200, they're a bit lame on that front. On this, you get away from all the traffic. And on the highway, you're doing, well, not that we did, but you could do 140, 150 if you really wanted to, and incur the wrath of the law.
Well, actually, the top speed of that one, not that I know or anything, is 180 kilometers per hour. And what's interesting is that it's not. That's not limited by fairing and all that kind of thing, wind resistance. You actually max out revs, top gear at 180 kilometers per hour, which means the gearing's actually really short, which makes that first to third even more interesting.
And I imagine that around a track, these things would be pretty damn fun.
Well, last week we took the racing version because Rad is introducing a new racing class for these things. I took the racing version around. All it really had was a slip-on exhaust pipe and the gearing was still standard.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually need to change it. I mean, I know I'm not really built.
You're not the slimmest chap, let's face it.
I'm not the sort of target dimensions, let's be honest here. And even I could ride this thing with the standard gearing around a racetrack and I had a great time. I wouldn't really change it, to be honest.
I mean, if you look at myself and Donovan, we are fine figures of men. I'm like a long, lean streak of something that's yellow and comes out your bladder. And Donovan, well, he likes his pies, as you can see. But the fact is, I didn't feel too big for this. You didn't look too big on that, so...
Well, thank you.
Anything for you. I tell you, I really love these little bikes. I mean, if you're an 18-year-old or whatever and you got one of these, holy cow, you're going to have a lot of fun. But now, there is the question of price, isn't there?
you're going to have to do a lot of chores around the house for these two.
Yeah,
It's,
the Naked, which is it's just called the Duke 390, the Naked comes in at 59,000 rand.
And that one, because it's got a fairing and it costs more, 63,000 rand.
Which it's a fair chunk of change for a little 390, but I tell you what, I've met a lot of people who said, and it doesn't matter what they ride, that one of these would be the second bike they'd have in the garage over all the other super bikes. I mean, once you've got a super bike, what's the point of having another one? This gives you just as much fun, a lot less, but still expensive for what it is. But the quality's there, and I mean, you know, look at the looks of the things. You've got orange wheels, you've got an orange trellis frame, you've got the funky graphics. It's got a great set of clocks on it. 18-year-old boys, if you're looking to pick up girls, then you can't go far wrong with one of these. Okay, you won't have any money to take her out with, but at least you can look damn cool. So, Donovan, verdict: worth it? Not worth it?
Well, okay, I'm thinking about myself now, and myself is 18. Right now, in my 30s, I would have one of these. The Duke version, I would. However, when I was 18, give me one of those any day.
This is the thing, and I'm with Don. I mean, I'm not in my 30s, I'm in my 40s. I won't say exactly what. And I would definitely have one of these. You can just ride it as you would a bigger bike, and it still does all the things that the bigger bikes do. And it's a nice, neat, nimble little package. So, yeah, KTM, good on you.